floor for questions. If you have any questions whatsoever, there are no dumb questions. We're all here learning together. Okay, there are things that I continue to learn every day. I've actually had some great interviews lately. I talked to another kid who comes here. His name's Cord Carpenter, and I was impressed because he came to visit us here. He was on the thing. I saw what he was doing on Facebook and booking all these shows. And for those of you that are Blueprint members, I just put the video up of him today in interviews. This kid does 200 dates a year with no song on the radio. And he's humping it, man. I mean, he's making it happen. I also started interviewing fans, which was real interesting. Probably my favorite video that I have on there is her name's Bianca Russo. And Bianca, basically, so I was working with this artist who had a big following. I was introducing another artist through this following, because what happens is not every month do you have stuff to give away, but we found out these people are into free music, so we offered up free music of another artist. So this girl sends me back this like essay. She goes, I just listened to, and it was Maddie, it was her music. She said, I just listened to Maddie Newton. First glance, awesome, sounds like Taylor, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, and this girl started really breaking it down. And I reached out to her and I said, I love you. Can I interview you? Because if the fan is going to take that much time to get that thorough, grab them, because that's going to end up being your street team member in that town. That's going to be the person that starts your own fan site. I had then sent her a video of Callie when Callie had played here and got her feedback there. So this girl was being very informative. So I said, can I interview you? She got nervous for a second. She's like, why do you want to interview me? I said, because ultimately you're the consumer. I want to know how you find your music. I want to know what you like that artists do, what you don't like that artists do. How can they engage you? What makes you stop following them? What do you expect from them? Because I'm going to teach you to do a lot of things, and if half those things don't make sense to the fans, then I'm going to stop asking you guys to do them. I'm going to follow my own advice. If it's just busy work, no one needs busy work. So I wanted to find out, and the great thing is that I was pretty on target with about 98% of the stuff. And that was great to hear. So I'm doing this series where I'm interviewing fans right now, and really from different genres of music, from different places. Recently I've been asked to do a DVD series for parents, so I reached out to Sonia and I started saying, as a mom, as a parent, what do you wish you would have known? Or what is not out there that you would like to know? So the reason I'm saying that to you right now is this is your chance to ask anything you want. There are enough people in here that I believe in that if I don't know the answer or can't guide you, can. So take advantage of the fact that David Hooper's here and that Trinidad's here, who's been out on the road with the band Perry and Colby Calais and has got tons of touring experience. So if there are any questions that you have whatsoever, please take this time to ask it, because we're really good ahead of schedule. I want to give you guys a chance to network too. So does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir. Jim?
It's not really a question, it's just, but you reminded me of something. When I first got on Twitter, I followed a current major star, and he was foul-mouthed, and I said, I don't need this, and I just unfollowed him. I think that's an important thing to consider what you're putting out there, whether you're going to offend them.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, not all of us could be Blake Shelton and people like that, you know? I mean, that's just kind of Blake's shtick. And I remember in the beginning, his publicist just cringing every time that he got a hold of this little tool.
How did you know it was Blake Shelton?
Just saying. I follow him too. The thing is that don't ever put anything out that you have to make an excuse for. You know, whether it be a recording, whether it be a photograph, whether it be a tweet. Honestly, if I can give you the best advice that was given to me when I started being on radio, is nobody cares about my religious beliefs or my political views, so don't say them. Best advice someone ever gave me, because you are never going to win, especially in the South. This was in California, you know. Those people just go to church on Easter, Christmas, you know, whatever they call them, ECMs or whatever it is. So be careful with what you put out there. Once it's out there, it's out there. You can try to take it back, but it will get passed on at some point, so that's a very good point. Jerry, questions, comments? Yes, ma'am, Jane?
You always say don't be heard or like seen before you're ready.
Yes.
Does that mean like don't play out? Because you say play out to get better, but then...
What I mean is that you need to play out to get better.
Right.
You don't need to knock on somebody's door.
Yeah,
Okay, there's gatekeepers in place for a reason, which is awesome. You know, Scott Borchetta and I were on a panel one time, and one of the questions was, why is it so hard to get to you? And Scott said, you should be happy that it's that hard, because by the time you get to an A&R person, you're saying, I now can compete with Rascal Flatts and Tim McGraw and Carrie Underwood and Taylor Swift. And unfortunately, there's not a person in this room right now that's ready to compete with them in all areas. Now, there are some that are getting close. There are some that have an opportunity. So it's there to protect you. So what I mean is that you can't control somebody walking up, but what I would suggest is, and don't take this the wrong way, I'm just saying it because it just happens to be here. Don't use stands. Learn your songs. Make sure that if you're in this building right here, you can go see the famous people that shop here. Don't make it hard for me to find you. So know the situation in the area that you're playing. If you're at a place where there's a big turnover, mention your website. Don't try to give them everything. I'm on Tumblr, Instagram, and start rattling off all this stuff. That's why I say, send them. So if I answer the question, where do you want to send them? Website, place you control. Because if you're smart and you've done it right, there is a link to your Twitter and a link to your Facebook and a link to your Instagram. Send them to one place. Have cards. Make friends with the doorman. And say, hey, would you mind handing out cards to everybody that comes in? That makes it real easy. Go find a cocktail waitress. Go find the bartender and say, hey, would you mind? And then from the stage, pimp that cocktail waitress or that bartender out. Because they're now your business partner. And the more you make money for them, the more they're going to try to make money for you. So find yourself partners, but make sure people know how to find you. So often you'll walk by and a lot of times, somebody said this to me the other day and I called bullshit on it. They said, well, I heard that if you're in a round and the other writers don't mention that they have music, you shouldn't mention. Bull. You want a deal. They want a deal too. So if they're not going to tell you how to find them, by gosh, I'm going to billboard who I am. I'm like, good, suckers. You know, you didn't say anything to anybody. Take care of you. It's your business. So if the round's already finished and you're nervous because you're going to promote yourself, if you do it in a way that's really not promoting, go for it. It's a great opportunity. What a lot of people do, especially the young ones, is you wait for people to come to you. People are nervous too. A lot of times they're intimidated. Why? Because you're on stage singing. To a lot of them, especially the young kids, you're famous to them. Because they're seeing you on stage in front of that microphone. They saw you on YouTube. How are all these kids doing cover songs famous already? They've never sang one of their own songs. Because they're pretending that they're famous. Fake it till you make it. Don't get up there and walk in with your little Paris Hilton dog and crap and start demanding things at all. That's a joke. Sorry, Taylor. But she doesn't bring the dog to shows, though. That's cool. But what you want to do is there's a lot of times that another thing young people tend to do, which is a big mistake, is they don't ask for a monitor. You know, they would rather not want to come across as being diva-ish or anything like that. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I sat there with somebody and said, give me your ears. I wanted to hear this mix, because this artist was pitchy. And I couldn't figure out why. It's because she never asked for anything in her ears, and she did her sound check in front of the guitar amp and the kick drum. You're not going to be able to really understand what's going on. You're about to give a performance that you don't know who's going to show up. You don't want to be able to make excuses, so that's the time. So just basically learn the things. You know, look at your sound guy and go, vocal up or vocal down. You know, just learn the little communications and things like that, to be able to ask for things. The time is during the sound check. Don't be that person that shows up late and then bitches at everybody because nothing was right. I hate that. I really do. I mean, more sound guys pull their hair out going, well, if they would have showed up on for sound check, we could have got this figured out. But instead, they like to always, a lot of the artists like to blame everybody but themselves. Don't be that artist. Please. Pretty please. Questions, comments? Yes, ma'am?
Don't make it hard for people to find you. Let's say maybe there's someone that has a Twitter handle that's really awkward and it is not your name, but you've already got kind of followers and you don't want to lose these people by starting a new Twitter account.
Start a new Twitter account and warn them. I had Nashville to You for the longest time. Nashville to You was my LLC, that's my business name. That's how everybody knew me. But that, as I started building my brand, I went to the Nashville to You and just kept posting, saying, hey, by the way, I'm shutting this down, I'm shutting it down. If you've got, do you have more than 10,000 followers? Then let's change it and get it to something that makes sense for you. And you don't have to shut it down immediately. You can keep it open and slowly move people over, but know that any new advertising that you do should be focused on the new Twitter handle and not your old one. Yes, ma'am.
You can change your Twitter name on your account. So then you don't even have to.
So if it says just for the top part, except if it's too long,
like
right?
No, like your app.
Your app, you can change it.
If somebody already has her name,
Oh, well, I mean,
you can't have this. Can you have the same?
no, but you can change it. Just like,
Would you get with her and show her after?
yeah.
Okay, that's Taylor. Taylor has a big YouTube following as well. Taylor also is big on social media, so if you can change that. But I couldn't switch at Nashville to You. I had to go to my other one, so. Coming around. Questions? The new folks, yes ma'am.
On YouTube videos, should you spend money to promote them? And if you should, how much should you spend?
Well, it really depends. If you don't have a way to capture the people that you're advertising to, then I would say no. YouTube likes you spending money. I mean, Google is in it for the money, so you can boost it up there a little bit. What I say, this is my rule on spending money. If you have a capture mechanism in place to take advantage of the traffic that you're going to pay to drive there, go for it. Don't just buy likes. Get them to go into a squeeze page where you can get their email, at least. If you're good, there's cool programs now that you can buy a Facebook ad and say, click here. Like for me, whenever I run Facebook ads, they're going to give me their information. I'm going to send them that free video series. I don't want them to have to like it to get there. I'll get them back on the like. But there are some cool things out there where you can like and fill out the email all at the same time. So just look at the ads. There's a great website. This Facebook guy just bought his program. His name's Brian Moran. It's called 10,000 Fans. And they give you step-by-step and breakdown. I'm going to put a lot of this inside the blueprint too, so you guys are already members there, so I'll put it in. But it shows you how to properly pick the right ads to buy. He's got this cool little keyword search thing, all these little tricks. What I do, just so you know, is I don't want to be an expert in everything. I want to know the experts in everything. So I go find the best Facebook person or the best YouTube person or the best book writer. I go find these people and seek them out. And then I get their information and bring it back to you guys because you want to make content. You got into this business not to build your own websites, even though some of you have to, and not to do all this stuff. It's great to know it all, but so I just try to go out and I invest in those people. I said something, the very first website I had, I listed about 8 people. I said, do me a favor, please support and buy these folks' products so they'll keep learning all this crap so we don't have to. You know, because that's the problem, is there's so much free stuff that's on the internet that people just tend to always look for free. When you find something you really like David's book I mentioned is free, but there is a donate button. You know, if you go and you like it and you use it, donate. He'll take it. You know, he's not asking for it up front. Same concept. When you find things that are great, invest in those people. Because what if they go bye-bye? You know, it just kind of is what it is. You know, so I would definitely try that. Ben, do you have a question? I saw you at an auction, you had just bought something. Got to be careful. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
How important is it for songwriters to develop
Okay?
Yeah. I mean, like, it all, songwriters really, it really translates.
Okay, if you're a songwriter, who's your consumer? What do they have? Facebooks and Twitter accounts sometimes? All the ones I know do. You're just selling to a different person. You want to have a quality website, you want to have a music player with your music. If you're not the best singer, hire a demo singer to sing it for you. Too many times songwriters make mistakes, I think, of trying to sing their own stuff when they really don't want to be the artist, but you want to have a presence there too, because as you're networking in town and you run into, you know, Rusty Gaston, who's a publisher who's big on Facebook and big on Twitter, you say, hey, go check out my website. Then they're going to go to this website and they're going to go, wow, she's pretty right on. You know, you got your stuff, you're organized, they know how to contact you, they know how to do all this stuff. Also too is if you're putting your music out there and it can get a buzz going on its own, that's just as good. You know, it shows them, wow, there's something going on with this person. I just spoke at the Smoky Mountain Songwriters Festival, and the group was a little older that was in there, and we tried something that worked, and I'll share it with you guys. It was just an idea that I had, and I have random things just come into my head, and half the time, as soon as I get a thought or an idea, I challenge it. That's just how I am. I go straight to the internet to see if it can work. And I challenge you to do the same thing. When you get an idea, don't discard it as, oh, there's no way that'll work. Try it, see for yourself. So what happened was, is I had this whole group of people, and I said to them, and I don't know where I said, oh, what it was is that they were being taught by other hit songwriters. And I'm like, do you guys realize that the people that you're competing against are here teaching you? That all of them in town are all trying to get the same cuts that you're trying to get, and the same things you're trying to get. So I asked this audience, I said, who in here has ever said, I have a song that would be perfect for insert artist name here? And every single one of them raised their hand. I said, the problem is you're not going to be able to get to Luke Bryan or Miranda Lambert. So this guy was sitting there, he's 53 years old, and he says, I'm never going to be able to be the artist, I just want to, so I said, let's do this. So I logged onto my computer, and I said, let's go to YouTube and search Luke Bryan covers. So we go on and we search Luke Bryan covers. All these kids showed up. Some of them were really, really good. So I asked the guy, I says, what do you have that they don't have? He goes, I don't know. I said, original material. So why not reach out to this kid that's singing the crap out of that Luke Bryan song and give him your song to let him sing it, to see. The guy's eyes lit up. He sent me this email. He goes, I was about to give up. I'm in this. So he's been spending all the time searching out all these people sending his music out. Now he's got this great demo that he didn't have to pay. Because he said, hey, I'll get you these songs. These kids went in and recorded them, and he got a chance to show a publisher how his song would sound being sung by somebody like Luke Bryan. And I was stoked that that worked, because I'm sitting there going, there's all these older folks that their time has passed them by as far as being the artist, but they got some great music. And these kids don't have the music. So I said, that's the person you want to be friends. Stop bitching because you come to town and you can't get it to Luke Bryan. He's only cutting 12 songs. Half of them are his. So the odds aren't good anyway. Yes, sir.
I mean, one of the things I encourage songwriters, as being one myself, I said it's a songwriter's direct selling market. There's a lady that wrote this song called A Mother's Prayer in California. She strung some photos and some video footage together, and had a daughter that was sick. Long story short, she wrote this really beautiful song, put it up on Mother's Day, it just went viral. She created a picture, like a frame of the poem, of the original lyrics.
Right.
She made a CD. She made a single. She made a single CD. She made a download. This woman made like 11 products from one song. She makes $50,000 a year from YouTube.
Every Mother's Day. Probably.
Yeah, and she sells printed music.
Oh, there you go.
Sheet music from it too, so people can play it.
See, that's stuff like that. I mean, that's brilliant. When you can do things like that. Yes, Mom.
I think also speaking to about this whole songwriting artist thing, a lot of us artists were broke, and we like side jokes like, I'm singing, give me $25 for an hour and I'll sing, and something that sounds like my life.
There you go.
So, go to open mics and all
What she
that.
said was, she said a lot of artists like herself that are broke and work at other jobs, she said, give her $25, she'll sing all the songs you want in an hour and sound just like Miranda Lambert.
And it's great studio practice.
Absolutely.
So,
That's the networking thing that we talk about. A lot of times right now, especially my younger females, you guys are writing great songs, but your voices are doing weird things. And they'll continue to do weird things for a couple of years, and then they'll get fixed, and then they'll do weird things again. Don't be afraid to have someone, that's still your song. That's still your baby. How would you feel, we had a chance, and I'll just pick on Taylor and Callie again recently. I had a chance to send one of their songs for Daniel Bradbury. Now, neither one of them have publishing deals, but they wrote this song. And I had both versions, one with her singing it, one with her singing it, and I sent them both. I didn't think that would confuse anybody. I thought I'd get the point across. And it did. So get somebody who can sing it, even if it's my, go get a cut. You want to get some doors open for you in this town? Get a cut. A lot of those kids coming from these talent shows, they aren't writing their own music right now. They don't have time. They take them right from the talent show into the gym and into the PR person and into this. Put your music out there, man. Get it to somebody. So if you're young, get yourself a cut. Oh yeah, my power died. Yeah. I got the other side of the video. Sorry, people. So, were you watching it on the little thing?
Somebody got texted.
So we had one viewer? Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to check it.
We'll double it next time.
Yeah. We threw Ustream on this time, but I didn't bring my power cord. For whatever reason, I left the house too fast, so I had 54%. So they got at least an hour's worth, I think. Tell them all the great stuff happened when it went off. Text them. Say, oh man, you missed it. Yeah, it was the best.
Oh, my Taylor came in, did 3 songs.
Yeah. No, what's her name? The chick from Nashville, because they play here. Hayden Panettiere?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's here right now. You should text that.
Yeah.
Tweet it.
Panettiere.
Panties? What? Panettiere?
Yeah.
Whatever. She has a little dog too. I saw her. I'm a Rena James. Man, that's not. Question. Do you have a question? You're writing stuff down. Can I answer a question for you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you have any? What's your name? You came late. We introduced ourselves to everybody.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry, I was working. I wasn't-
No, that's good. What's your name?
Kirsty.
Kirsty, tell us about yourself.
Well, I grew up here. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm working with 2 really awesome producers right now, but have no idea how to do the whole website, all that kind of stuff. Trying to do that on my own, with a little help on the side, but
Awesome. Well, thanks. I'm glad you joined us. Cool. In the back, Trinidad, do you got anything to say?
I just finished David's book, and what you're saying also is just, it's, I think, underestimated by so many young artists. I mean, it's absolutely, it almost puts their careers short of guaranteed, because it takes a lot of work, and there's a lot of work involved. But if you really, hit the road as far as doing all these things and what's in David's book, you will absolutely see, an upward slope. You will, and then you get encouraged about it, and you'll want to work harder. People, catch that enthusiasm and want to be a part of what you're doing. Everybody wants to be a part of something really great.
Mm-hmm.
And if people really just adhere to what they're hearing here, I'm just blown away that the room's not full, because I've seen this stuff in real motion, and I've seen it work.
Well, the cool part is that because the room's not full, that eliminates a lot of the competition. Like I always tell you, you guys know what I say, weird wins. Get as weird as you can. Getting education on this stuff, coming out hanging at these things, that's weird to a lot of people. Well, guess what? They don't know what you know now. And don't get sucked into believing what they tell you, because they don't know. And that's the biggest problem, is be careful who you're taking advice from in this town. Just because somebody produced a record doesn't mean that they've ever developed an artist. And that's the part for the new folks that are here. Be very, very, very careful. Google is a powerful tool. Do your research. There's a lot of people in this town that every year about the time Belmont starts up and MTSU starts up, they go on the prowl. And basically, they have studios, so they need to record. That's kind of what they do. And they come from a mindset where you have to have very expensive recordings in order to get it heard on radio. Radio doesn't care about you right now, so don't you be spending the money to get heard on radio. You build your audience, and the labels, let them spend that money to get you heard on radio, because the labels can't even get all the acts they have on the radio right now. That's the biggest thing, and that's why I want to challenge you guys to answer or just start asking questions. If I come up to you, Eric, and I say, hey man, you know what, I saw you play, I love what you got going on, $10,000 man, I can get you out to radio, and this is what I can guarantee you. What I want you to say to him is say, you know what, that sounds awesome. Can you show me the results from the last person you did this for? Dude, but we're going to be the first, because I see you and you're a good looking guy, and I've got, great, I appreciate that. What about those results? You guys get so, and I'm not saying you guys, but people get so excited that somebody showed up that really wants them, that all of a sudden second mortgages on the house are being taken out and things are being, spent that they should not. Right now, in order, what you have to do first and foremost is you have to set your goal. So if your goal is this, what's it going to take to get to this? Okay, so if your goal is to get a record deal, which is everybody's goal in this town, by the way, is to get a record deal. So what you're going to have to ask yourself is, what do I have to do to make myself attractive to this record label? It's not showing up with some songs that you sound great on, that you spent $40,000 on, but you have no online following, or you haven't played any shows, or you haven't sold any merchandise, or you haven't done those things. All you've done is showed up to them with a $40,000 record. And the presidents of the labels and the A&R people that I know in this town, they're not going to want to invest in someone who didn't invest in themselves already. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to invest in yourselves. Most of it's time. Most of it's finding the right people and doing the right things. So that's what I encourage you to do, is hunt out people that can give you the answers to the questions that you need at the time, but aren't blowing smoke up your butt. Get that from your mom and your choir director. Don't take it from somebody who's about to ask you to spend money with them. Okay? Because the folks in this town, there are some great people that are out of work, unfortunately. And the only way they know is to get the same players that played on everybody else's record, do a video by the same people that do everybody else's videos, hire a promotion staff for $10,000 to $15,000 a month, and send a song to radio. $500,000. It's that number we talked about. So if you do find people that believe in you and are willing to invest in you, you owe it to them to also do the things that you're doing right now. That's why I love what you said. You found some great producers, and now you're here learning the other stuff. That makes a great team. That makes a great partnership. You're not relying solely on them, and you've taken some of it upon yourself, and I applaud you and honor you for that, because a lot of people don't. They really don't. They just sit in the studio and just keep getting these investors' money, and all this stuff happens, and then it doesn't work, and the investor's like, wait a minute, what did I just do? So that was great for you to hear that. I was so glad when you said, I found these two great producers, and now I'm here learning the other stuff. That's what you guys are doing, which is awesome. For those of you that have not signed up yet, come over here on the iPad, sign up for the Two Old Hippies list. I'll go ahead and move you over to the Music Industry Blueprint list, and for the next 4 days, you're going to get a video series that we've done. I say we, it's just me, and the voices in my head, I guess. Could be we. But it's 7 keys for increasing your odds in the business is the first one you're going to get. The second one is how to get your website and your social sites to work together. Why we set up MailChimp and things like that. Then another one is the myth. I debunked some of the myths. People saying that you can't generate traction without a song and all this kind of stuff. I tell the Florida Georgia Line story. Then I also share a little bit about what Taylor and I did with MySpace. All that was is she learned how to engage and talk to fans. That's really it. The sad part, there was a pro and a con back then. Back then we only had MySpace. We didn't have Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, which meant everyone was pretty much located in one space. Now, crap, there's like 10,000 social media places, and they're all over the place. So that's a disadvantage to you as well, but if you learn how to engage that fan and drive them to your spot, you'll be okay. So we talk a bit about that, and then if anybody's interested in finding out how to become a part of the blueprint and blah, 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 all that that's in there as well. But I want to make sure that you get this information, that you use this information. You've heard me, you've heard Trinidad, you've heard other people. Go to musicmarketing.com is still the best place to get it.
Oh, the book, yeah.
Musicmarketing.com to get David's book. Listen to him on Lightning 100. He also has a great podcast. You can get all that information from his website. You want to say anything, Dave, before we let everybody network a bit?
Well, I think what you're doing is great. I think that the music business, the people that are the future of the music business are right here in this room. So if somebody's an independent artist, like you're a songwriter and you want to get something cut, that person that you talk to now that's successful now, if you can kind of get on the same train as they are, you can come up with them. That's a great way to be introduced into the business. And then once you get those cuts, like Rick said, then everybody's going to come to you. But I think that works just in general. It's so obvious that that's probably the one thing they've gotten on the Nashville TV show right? It's like people come to town, you hang out with those people, and they rise up together. So that's what we're doing here, so I think that's great.
Yes, sir, Will.
I just want to throw a comment out too, because I've been asked afterwards, after some of these sessions we have about the video stuff, and you mentioned, the cost of video, people jumping ahead of the game, spending a lot of money, not only in the recording of your album, but on a video. This stuff I'm using here is an iPhone 5. You can actually convert most of these. It has a case that goes on it, couple $100. Stand, the case comes with lenses. You can set up a download app for Ustream nowadays. You can dump it right to your YouTubes, right from here when you're done. Pop it right up. So you're getting HD quality, 10 megapixel stuff. I mean, there's a lot of neat stuff you can do very cost effectively. Just go out and search like portable units that hook up to this stuff, literally a few $100 and you've got a really great video rig.
And I'm glad you said that, because what you got to stop doing is singing into your computer, which makes you right-handed guitar players look left-handed, and the distortion that comes through. I would rather you not put something up than to put something up like that. You don't want to be that kid in your bedroom. If you want to start putting a little effort into it. Also, too, when it comes to branding, and I know there's some new folks here, if you don't wear a hat all the time, don't just put a hat on in your pictures. If you don't, I'm not talking about you, Dallas, I'm sorry. A lot of times, yeah, but no, what I'm talking about is a lot of times for the guys especially, is if you're not a cowboy, don't dress up like a cowboy. Be who you are. That's real. You have a much easier time being you than something else. We did this thing, and I'll end with this. Somebody said, so what about, oh, yes ma'am.
Someone had mentioned demo singers. I'm always looking for demo singers. We do songwriters, demos, we do film and TV masters, there's opportunity to get things in film and TV. And I'm always looking for good singers. And if you're also looking for work as a demo singer, demosinger.com, I find really good singers on there all the time.
Demosinger.com, she said. She also said that she can, has opportunities to where she's looking for demo singers. So get her your stuff. Doke.
Do you have any weekend seminars coming up?
I'm in Atlanta coming up September 28th and 29th, I think, down in Atlanta. We're doing a 2-day workshop. But also, too, is that the Bridgestone Arena, the little big antenna, the visitor center there, I'll be doing an artist workshop on September 11th from 1 to 3 in the afternoon, just for anybody that comes by. So you want to be in the music business, we just call in, you get tourists and everybody that wants to come up. Sooner rather than later, we're going to hopefully do another weekend event like we did here. I'm working on something that I'm pretty excited about for next year, where I'm going to open up something. It's either going to be 50 people or 100 people. I haven't figured it out yet. And we're going to take it a week, 4 days, and we're just going to beat the crap out of you like you were signed to a label, getting you ready for radio tour and performance. And then I'm working to get the 5 major labels in town to where every night you get to perform and showcase acoustic for these labels. So it's going to be by invite only. It's going to cost you money, know that right away. We're going to set it up so we're weeding out the crap. We want to make sure that these people are real, that we believe in what they're doing, and that they're at that next step of being ready, because there's not a lot of places you can get all these A&R people in one place, and I'm actually going to be paying them to attend to assure that we're getting the quality people at these A&R companies as well. So I'm working on that for next year. I'm meeting with a couple performance coaches, some vocal coaches, some media experts, to where we can put this kick-butt team together. And, you know, Dave and I had talked about it, teaching you how to interview right, teaching you how to play in a conference room, teaching you how to do all those things, and just boot camping the crap out of you and making you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and sing, because that's what happens on radio tour, and all those fun things, and teaching you how to drink water and eat properly and do all those things. So I'm working on that, and then I want to do another event where it's a 2-day, we did a 2-day training not too long ago, where we just come in, it was like $97. We ran a special if people want to join the Blueprint, but it'll be like $97 to get in, $147 for 2 people, and we'll have another publisher there, an A&R person, and we teach. You know, there's a lot of people in this town that tell you, we want to teach you, so that's why we're not for everybody. It's because not a lot of people want to learn. They're just kind of crossing their fingers and hoping it happens. So you guys are awesome. If you didn't get your questions answered, please grab me. Afterwards, come sign up here so I make sure that I know how to get a hold of all of you. If anybody needs to email me if they have to leave, it's easy. rick@rickbarker.com is my number. If you got questions, we can set up a time to chat, and I can tell you a little bit more. If you got here late, you didn't get what you needed. But I'm going to open up the iPad. You guys can check this out. Thanks to 2 Old Hippies, again, for allowing us to be here. Dope, Will. Thank you guys, David. Thanks for kicking it. We appreciate it. And for those of you that are in need of like pictures immediately, hopefully Laurel brought some cards and stuff like that. So I know her schedule fills up real fast. So grab a hold of her and grab a card.
Like as long as it's at 8 o'clock, it's good to network. If they get out on the street, they need to get out of here. And it's the first Tuesday of every month.
We've moved it now.
Calendar, okay?
All right. Thank you guys so much. Ciao.